I'll go through the panel and the actual operation. Okay, so next, let's talk a little bit about how to get the water discharged. So obviously you have three ways to do that. You have the bucket for people who are going to be using this in a place where you are not going to see a lot of water being collected. You can go the bucket route. All you'll need to do is take it out from time to time and empty it. Very simple to do, and that put that back in. The other way to do this is the continuous use discharge, in which case what's going to happen is you're going to use this outlet right here. You're going to take this out. Let me take this wire out of the way. By the way, you know, this is coming in a sleeve, so you can take out the whole thing. But here you'll see that there is this a seal, right? This plug, which is in rubber. So which, if you're not going to use this, then obviously keep this plugged in. But if you are going to use this in continuous discharge mode, then you take a garden hose and you install it right here. Be gentle with it because this thing is made in plastic and you don't want to damage the threads. So you insert it very gently when you do that. And then, you know, obviously the water will discharge from here. If you use this feature, then obviously the water is not going to go into the tank, and therefore you don't need this outlet either. This is in continuous discharge mode. Because nothing is collected and the unit is assuming the water is being continuously dispensed out. I'm not going to use this feature either. What we are going to use is the pump feature, because this unit does come with a pump, and so the water will collect in the tank and or in the bucket, and we'll basically turn the pump on and it will get discharged from here. So the hose that they have supplied you with will basically say, I don't know if you can read it. It says insert the hose up to this line. I think this is written in 3 languages, and that's the line they're talking about. So you want to, you know, push this in all the way in, so at least it's up to this line. So that's what it says. This is the same thing. It doesn't matter which end you use. It's the same thing. The same thing is printed on both ends, so you can see it here as well. So basically we are going to, this is a quick connect, so we will push this in like so. So you can see it is all the way in because it's up to this mark, and that's what you want. And if you do need to take this out, you will need to press on here like so, and then pull from the other end. But you can't just pull, you know, start wanking it out, because that might damage the hose itself and this part. So you want to basically, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate, I guess, with one hand, but you have to press this in like I'm doing right now, and then for you using the other hand, you're going to yank it out. But do it very gently. You don't want to damage the thing, obviously. Okay, so let's go over a little bit about the top of the unit. I'll go into the control panel in a moment, but I also wanted to show you those vertical fins that you see going that way. There's a drum fan. Basically, that's the fan that is going to rotate and circulate the air. And obviously the air is collected from in here, as I showed earlier, and it exhausts from here. And so you don't want this area to be covered up in any way. In fact, don't place anything on top. It's very important that the unit has enough air circulation right around it, so that the unit can function properly. The other thing I also want to mention is that this unit should be placed on a level surface. So you don't want this to be placed on a surface where it's not level on your floor, and that might cause problems for your unit. So you want this to be on a level surface, and then obviously keep this open all around so that you have enough air circulation and the unit can do its job properly. I think there are some specifications of 40 centimeters, I believe, on all sides. But your manual is going to tell you about the spaces. But 40 centimeters, I think, is what it says. So the thing should not be placed right against a wall. You want some air clearance so that air can freely, circulate. Remember, the air, is collected from in here. Okay, so let's see a little bit about the control panel itself, and I'm going to start from right here. So this is obviously your power on and off button, and you'll notice it says connect 3S down below. because this is a dual function button. So obviously this is going to be used for powering the unit on and off, but also for putting the unit on pairing mode. Because this is a smart unit, this is going to be able to connect to the internet and pair to your mobile phone with a mobile app. So in order to put this in pairing mode, you'll have to press this button for 3 seconds continuously, and then it puts the unit on pairing mode. And you'll notice when the unit is connecting to the internet, the light will flicker in white, right? And I don't know if you can see this, there is an LED up here with this, Wi-Fi icon. Basically, this LED is gonna flicker in white, and that tells you that the unit is in pairing mode. When the unit has connected to the internet, the white light will stop flickering, right? So you won't see any flickering out here. And that tells you that the unit was working or is connected. When you press and hold the power button for 3 seconds to initiate the wireless connection mode, the LED display will show AP to indicate that you can set up the wireless connection. Now, if the connection is successful within 8 minutes, the unit will exit the wireless connection mode automatically, and the wireless indicator will illuminate. And of course, the unit will enter the previous function. If the connection fails, however, within 8 minutes, then the unit is going to exit the wireless connection mode automatically. So you won't need to do anything, for that. So it'll come out automatically. And of course, you can press it for 3 seconds and again reinitiate that process. So now let's look at the timer function, which is basically this button right here, and there is an LED for that too. If you're going to use this in a timed fashion, so you can put this unit on use only for specific times, you can do that using this button, and they work in conjunction with these two buttons because this is now going to act as a timer, right? So the way you're going to do that is you press the timer button to initiate the auto start and auto stop function. And then when the unit is off, press the timer button to activate the auto start time. Once you do that, then you have to press or hold the up or down button, which is this one and this one, and to change the auto start time, right? Now, the time that is shown here on the panel is going to work in 30-minute intervals, right? So once you do that, you can go up to 10 hours. And then after 10 hours, because it's a 24-hour cycle, after 10 hours, you can do that in 1 hour increments, right? So you can lower it or, increase it by 1 hour increment after the 10 hours. So you'll see that there's a difference that, for the first 10 hours, it's in 30-minute intervals. And then for the last hours or remaining hours, it'll be in 1 hour intervals. So that's about the timer. And of course, once you have set that up, the unit will, automatically come on and off, using the timer function. And obviously, if you don't want any of the timer functions to work, then you can cancel it by setting the time to 00, and you will have no timer then associated with it. So now let's look at the mode button. With the mode button, you can basically put the unit on different modes, and there are 4 modes available to you. One is the set mode, continuous mode, dryer mode, and comfort mode. And out of these modes, the set mode is the only one where you can actually set the humidity levels that you desire. With continuous, dryer, or comfort, these are preset humidity levels. So you can't really mess around with the humidity levels with those 3, but with set you can. So if you want a very specific humidity level to be set for your area, for your room, then you go with the set mode. And when you do that, obviously you will have to put this in set mode. So this LED is going to turn on. And then using these buttons, you're going to set the humidity level, and you'll see how much that is set for right here. And the way you do that is basically, you're going to set the humidity mode, and then the ambient humidity will be displayed in 5 seconds later, here. So whatever is the current humidity level will be shown here. When you're setting this, you press the button to select the dehumidifying mode, adjust the desired humidity by pressing the up and down button. And the humidity can be set from 35 at the lower end to 85% on the upper end. So that's your range. And the adjustment will basically take place in 5% intervals, right? So every time you press this, you're lowering it or increasing it by 5%, the humidity level. So 35 to 85% is the max range. And so that's the set mode. Now, if you put this in continuous dehumidifying mode. So obviously your garden hose comes into play, and it's going to basically dehumidify in continuously, right? This is obviously used only for those areas where the humidity levels are, always very high. In a very wet basement, for example, that's where you use this. But in my personal opinion, if you put this in continuous mode, it's probably not going to be good for your dehumidifier, because it's basically operating non-stop, right? So if you want the longevity, then I would put this in some other mode and not continuous. But you might have that need to put that. Obviously depends on your situation. And then the next one is the comfort dehumidifying mode, right? So if you see the last feature here, which is comfort, basically it's going to keep the room at the 45 to 55% level in terms of humidity. And this is, I think, probably the ideal for most people, to kind of keep it at comfort, and you don't need to worry about it. But obviously in different applications, this is why the modes are available. And the last one is dryer mode, right? Which is probably the most extreme mode. And this is really used for those applications where you want the area to be like super dry. The unit will quit the dryer mode after maximum 10-hour operation. So that's the caveat. So it does work continuously, but then it'll, obviously disconnect or quit the dryer mode after 10 hours. I guess it's for the safety of the unit itself. And then the other thing is that it's going to be on high fan mode, right? So the moment you put this in continuous, then it's going to be, or in dryer mode, the high fan mode will automatically kick in. And really, the only times where I think you need a dryer mode is if you want, you have an application where you're drying clothes or stuff like that, or you have a carpet which is wet. In those kind of situations, you want to put it in the dryer mode. So those are the 4 modes that are available to you, and you can set them according to your needs. Now let's take a look at the fan mode, which is this button right here. It's going to allow you to put the fan, and then you can see that there are the low high button or LEDs for that. And so you can set this according to low, high, low, whatever you might. There are really only two modes available. And if you have to, if you see the filter LED turn on, basically it's going to it's telling you that it's time to service the filters, and that's what that LED is for. And once you have done that, you can obviously reset the filter by pressing this button for 3 seconds continuously and reset it. But otherwise, it'll just operate the fans. So that's the point of this one. And now let's look at the M shield button, or the pump button, right? So the pump, if you want the water to be pumped out of the bucket, then obviously you want to use this button. And so if you were to press this button to activate the built-in function or built-in pump function, then using this function, the unit will automatically pump the water out until the water tank is empty, right? So it'll continue to do that. So obviously there's an automatic cutoff, depending on whether there's water to be pumped or not. So there's a sensor for that. And the pump will stop automatically once the water is empty. The same button is actually also used for the built-in M Shield ionizer, and you can see that here. This button is again a dual use button, dual function button. So if you press this for 3 seconds, you're basically turning on the ionizer. And really what the ionizer is for is to get rid of any kind of mold or other micro pollutants in the air, which basically what happens is that once you put the ionizer on, it's going to put a negative charge in the air, and by that negative charge, any pollutants who stick into the vapors in the air are going to fall on the floor, which you can then obviously wipe it off. So that's the general idea, that any pollutants like mold, bacteria, or other kind of stuff like that, micro stuff like that, which is in the air, will be cleaned out, right? So that's what this is for. And to activate this, you again press it for 3 seconds, or to deactivate, you press it for 3 seconds. So I really like the fact that this unit comes with a ionizer, because in a basement situation, mold is probably your biggest concern. And the fact that it ionizes the air reduces the possibility of mold developing in that area.